The dream began as a whisper, a gentle murmur in the back of my mind that grew louder with every sunrise. It was a longing I couldn't quite name at first, a subtle pull towards something greater, something wild and untamed. Each morning, as I watched the first light spill over the horizon, the Andes called to me, their jagged silhouettes promising both challenge and wonder. The idea of venturing into their embrace was both exhilarating and terrifying, but the whisper persisted, growing stronger with every passing day. It was a call to towering mountains and vast skies, to places where the air is thin and the world feels impossibly large. The Andes, with their snow-capped peaks and endless valleys, seemed to beckon me from afar. I imagined myself riding beneath their watchful gaze, the wind in my face, the sky stretching endlessly above. The thought of being so small in such a grand landscape was humbling, yet it filled me with a sense of purpose I had never known before. What began as a faint idea soon grew into a clear call to action. The more I dreamed, the more I realized this was not just a journey of distance, but of transformation. I started to prepare, waking before dawn to pack my gear, checking and rechecking every detail. Each step felt like a promise to myself, a commitment to chase the horizon no matter how far it seemed. I traced a red line through the Andes on my map, my finger following the winding roads and mountain passes I would soon travel. The route was daunting, a ribbon of possibility stretching across the continent. I studied every curve and elevation, imagining the challenges and triumphs that awaited. Each mark on the map was a step closer to the unknown, a leap of faith into the heart of the mountains. I knew I would cycle them alone, seeking not just the raw power of nature, but also the depths of my own inner strength. The solitude both frightened and excited me. Many questioned my ambition, warning me of the dangers, the unpredictable weather, the isolation. They wondered why I would choose such a lonely path, why I would risk so much for a dream. But I knew that the greatest adventures are born from uncertainty, and that true discovery lies just beyond the edge of comfort. Preparing for this journey was monumental, far more than just physical training. I spent months building my endurance, pushing my limits on steep trails and rocky paths, but the real challenge was mental. I had to learn to trust myself, to quiet the doubts that crept in during the long, silent hours of training. I packed and repacked my supplies, making sure every item had a purpose, every ounce counted. The mountains demanded respect, and I was determined to meet them on their terms. It was a mental marathon as much as a physical one. I spent evenings alone, journaling my hopes and fears by the light of a campfire, meditating in the quiet wilderness. I visualized the journey ahead, picturing myself overcoming obstacles, finding strength in moments of doubt. The solitude became my teacher, showing me the value of patience, resilience, and self-belief. My bicycle became an extension of myself, a trusted companion for the road ahead. Every bolt tightened, every tire checked was a ritual of preparation. I learned to listen to the subtle creaks and clicks, to feel the rhythm of the wheels beneath me. The bike was more than a machine. It was my partner, my lifeline, and my ticket to freedom. Finally, the day arrived. I stood at the foot of the mountains, my heart pounding with a mix of excitement and apprehension. The peaks loomed above, shrouded in mist and mystery, their ancient presence both intimidating and inspiring. I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of my journey settle on my shoulders. This was the moment I had been preparing for, the threshold between the known and the unknown. The whisper that had haunted my dreams was now a roar in my chest, a surge of energy that drowned out all fear. The wind swept through the valley, carrying with it the promise of adventure and the thrill of possibility. I felt alive, more present than ever before, ready to embrace whatever the mountains had in store. It was time to ride into the Condor's shadow, to follow the path of legends and carve my own story into the heart of the Andes. With every turn of the pedals, I would answer the call that began as a whisper and became my destiny. The first days on the road were a shock to my system, both physically and mentally. As I set out before sunrise, the world felt vast and unfamiliar, the silence broken only by the crunch of gravel beneath my tires. The air was thin and cold, biting at my cheeks, and every sense was heightened by the knowledge that I was truly alone, far from the comforts of home. Each morning I felt a mix of excitement and apprehension, knowing that every turn in the road could bring a new challenge or an unexpected wonder. The relentless Andean wind tested my limits in ways I hadn't anticipated. Gusts howled down the valleys, pushing against me with invisible hands, threatening to knock me off balance. Sometimes it felt as if I was pedaling in place, fighting for every meter of progress. The wind carried with it the scent of distant rain and the promise of storms, reminding me how small I was in this immense landscape. My legs burned with the effort of climbing endless hills, muscles screaming in protest as I pushed onward. My lungs struggled to draw in the thin, high-altitude air, each breath a reminder of how far I was from sea level. Every kilometer conquered felt like a hard-won victory, a testament to my determination and stubbornness. There were moments when I wanted to stop, to turn back, but something inside urged me forward. Fear was a constant companion, whispering doubts in the quiet spaces between heartbeats. The isolation was profound. No voices, no traffic, just the wind and the sound of my own breathing. I worried about what lay ahead. Wild animals, sudden storms, the possibility of injury or getting lost. At times the vastness of the landscape felt overwhelming, as if I might simply disappear into it. Alone in my tent at night, every sound was amplified. The rustle of wind in the grass, the distant call of a bird, the creak of my bike settling after a long day. The vast emptiness outside was both beautiful and intimidating, a reminder of how far I'd come and how far I still had to go. Sometimes I lay awake, staring at the ceiling of my tent, feeling both vulnerable and exhilarated by the adventure unfolding around me. Mechanical challenges quickly became part of my daily routine. I learned to be resourceful, patching flats with numb fingers, adjusting gears by the roadside, improvising repairs with whatever I had on hand. Each problem solved was a small triumph, a lesson in patience and self-reliance. These moments forced me to slow down, to pay attention, and to appreciate the simple satisfaction of overcoming obstacles with my own hands. Despite the hardships, there were moments of pure joy that made every struggle worthwhile. Cresting a mountain pass after hours of climbing, I felt a surge of pride and relief. The view from the top was breathtaking, a panorama of peaks and valleys stretching to the horizon. At camp, a hot meal cooked over a tiny stove tasted better than any restaurant feast, and the simple act of resting my tired body felt like a reward in itself. These small victories, reaching a summit, fixing a stubborn flat, sharing a laugh with a stranger, reminded me why I embarked on this journey in the first place. Each day brought new lessons, new challenges, and new reasons to keep going. I found strength I didn't know I had, and a sense of wonder that made even the hardest days feel meaningful. The first pedal strokes into the unknown set me on a path of discovery, of the world and of myself. With every turn of the wheels, I was reminded that adventure begins the moment you dare to leave the familiar behind. As I climbed higher into the mountains, each pedal stroke seemed to carry me further away from the familiar world below. The air thinned, and with it, the sounds of civilization faded into a distant memory. The only noises left were the rhythmic crunch of gravel beneath my tires, the steady beat of my heart, and the whisper of the wind weaving through the peaks. The higher I went, the quieter everything became, until it felt as though I was the only person left in the world. In this vast silence, solitude settled around me like a gentle blanket. It was a profound experience, one that brought both peace and clarity, but also moments of intense loneliness. There were times when the emptiness felt overwhelming, when the sheer scale of the landscape made me feel impossibly small. Yet in that same emptiness I found a rare kind of freedom. With no distractions, my thoughts became sharper, my senses more attuned to the world around me. The emotional highs and lows I experienced mirrored the rugged terrain beneath my wheels. Some days the journey felt effortless, as if the mountains themselves were lifting me upward. Other days, every meter gained was a battle, and doubts crept in with every gust of wind. But through it all, the landscape offered its own kind of companionship, a silent witness to my struggles and triumphs. Nights spent alone beneath a canopy of stars taught me to find comfort in my own company. I learned to appreciate the quiet moment, but brewing a cup of tea at dusk, writing in my journal by headlamp, or simply watching the last light fade from the peaks. These rituals became anchors, grounding me in the present and reminding me that solitude could be a source of strength. The high passes themselves were formidable, each one a test of my resolve and determination. The air grew colder, the paths steeper and more treacherous. There were moments when I questioned whether I could go on, when fatigue and doubt threatened to overwhelm me. But with every challenge, I discovered reserves of resilience I never knew I had. Reaching the summit was a feeling of pure triumph, a moment when all the struggle and solitude crystallized into a powerful sense of accomplishment. Standing atop the pass, the world spread out before me in all directions, and I felt both incredibly small and impossibly strong. The perspective gained from such heights was more than just physical. It was a reminder of what I was capable of and how far I had come. In the end, I realized that solitude was not emptiness, but a kind of fullness, a space filled with challenge, beauty, and self-discovery. The quiet of the high passes was not a void, but a canvas on which I could paint my own journey. Every storm, every headwind, every moment of doubt was balanced by breathtaking vistas, unexpected moments of joy, and the deep satisfaction of pushing through adversity. Alone, yet not lost, I found a sense of belonging in the wild places that tested me most. In the solitude of the high passes, I discovered that I was exactly where I needed to be. Alone, but never truly lonely, surrounded by the vastness of the mountains and the quiet strength within myself. The Andes spoke a language of wind and stone. The wind, a constant companion, told stories of ancient times. The stones, a visible history, connected me to the planet's deep time. The mountains taught perseverance and resilience, standing tall through eons. Cycling through, I absorbed their strength, learning persistence. The landscape's constant change taught adaptability, extending beyond weather to emotions. The journey was a fluid experience, embracing challenges and opportunities. The Andes are a tapestry of diverse landscapes. In the north, lush cloud forests teemed with life. Traveling south, the Altiplano's arid beauty unfolded. Further south, Patagonia's glaciers and granite spires commanded awe. Each region offered new challenges and joys, a visual feast. The journey was an immersion into South America's rich tapestry. The people I met gave the journey its heart. In remote villages, I found warmth and generosity. Small acts of kindness reminded me of our shared humanity. A smile bridged language barriers, creating connections. Wildlife encounters added wonder. Vicuñas, wildlife encounters added wonder. Condors, wildlife encounters added wonder, and more. These moments enriched my journey, vibrant threads in the Andean tapestry. The journey was as much inner exploration as physical. Long hours and solitude forced introspection, revealing strength. I learned to break challenges into small steps, a mantra of perseverance. The journey stripped away non-essentials, fostering gratitude for simple comforts. Mountains provided perspective, showing most anxieties are self-created. The journey was a mental reset, transforming me into a more resilient person. The final weeks were a mix of excitement and sadness. The journey's end was near, but I would miss the road's simplicity. The final descent felt symbolic, transitioning to a new chapter. Reaching the Pacific Ocean was overwhelming, a dream realized. The journey's impact would last a lifetime, opening new horizons. My story is one of many, a dream chased. Your dream may differ, but courage to begin is key. We all have our Andes to climb, personal mountains to conquer. Fear is natural, a sign of growth. Embrace it. Adventure is a mindset found in your own heart. Start small, but start. Let your dreams guide you. The world awaits. Your adventure begins now.